Your doctor tells you that your brain fog is all in your head. Well, of course it's all in my head, you idiot. So you're left on your own to figure this thing out. But until you know what is causing your brain fog, the wrong supplement can actually make you feel worse. Because if you're low in dopamine, then you do not need the same nootropic as the person who has brain inflammation. And feeling exhausted likely means your mitochondria are struggling, so you do not need the same supplement as the person who can't sleep. And if you've lost your drive, focus, and motivation because dopamine is low, then you may need something completely different. In this video, you will learn to recognize 5 different causes of brain fog, and I will show you one nootropic for each cause of brain fog just to keep things simple. We'll cover low acetylcholine, mitochondrial dysfunction, inflammation, low dopamine, and poor sleep. And make sure you stay with me until the end because I'm also going to answer some of your most frequently asked questions, which I get in the comments section, including if Rhodiola Rosea can be used with SSRIs, Xanax, and thyroid meds, or if Astaxanthin works if taken with krill oil or omega-3s, and why rosavins to salidroside ratio in Rhodiola Rosea matters if you want to use it for brain fog. Now let's start with a type of brain fog that feels like your brain cannot find the word that you're searching for. You know the word, you know the name, you know why you walked into the room, but it stays on the tip of your tongue and you can't quite say it. Then your acetylcholine is probably low. Acetylcholine is your brain's signaling neurotransmitter, used for learning and memory, recall, focus, and mental processing speed. One of the best nootropics for this type of brain fog is CDP-Choline, which I use twice a day. It's also called acetylcholine in Europe. CDP-Choline gives your brain choline, which it uses to make acetylcholine. But it does more than that. CDP-Choline also helps produce phosphatidylcholine, which is part of your brain cell membranes. And that matters because brain cells need healthy membranes for quick brain cell signaling. If your brain is low in choline, it will start stealing choline from those cell membranes to keep making acetylcholine, and that is not a good idea. So if your brain fog feels like poor recall, slow word retrieval, you can't focus, or your poor short-term memory, CDP-Choline is the first nootropic that I would choose. The typical dosage of CDP-Choline is 300 milligrams twice a day. I suggest taking 1 dose in the morning and another dose at noon. And do not take it too late in the day because too much choline can cause headaches, irritability, or sleep problems in some people. And this is where people often screw it up. They hear that choline is good for memory, so they take more and more. Remember, I am always ranting about more is never better. If CDP-Choline gives you a headache, makes you feel tense, or it affects your sleep, reduce your dose to 1 capsule instead of 2 per day. Or just stop using it. Now let's talk about the second cause of brain fog, mitochondrial dysfunction or low energy. This is the kind of brain fog where you do not just feel unfocused, you feel like your battery is running near empty. You wake up feeling tired. You read the same sentence 3 times because you didn't get it the first time. You can think clearly for a short time, but then it feels like your mental energy just ran out. Now this is where Rhodiola Rosea is a good choice. Rhodiola Rosea is an adaptogen. Now, you hear everybody talking about adaptogens, but what does that even mean? It means that Rhodiola Rosea helps balance your brain and body so you can handle stress better. It can also help reduce stress-related fatigue. For many, Rhodiola Rosea provides a nice, clean, calm type of energy without feeling like a stimulant. And this makes Rhodiola Rosea a good option if your brain fog is caused by exhaustion, burnout, overwork, or mental fatigue. It is also worth looking into when you're recovering from something. For example, after quitting smoking, after periods of long-term stress, after dealing with an infection of some kind, or after a period where your nervous system has been under pressure for months or years. But Rhodiola Rosea is not for everyone. If you already feel wired, anxious, overstimulated, or are prone to insomnia, start with a low dose and take it early in the day. A typical dose is 200 to 400 milligrams of Rhodiola Rosea extract first thing in the morning. Some like a higher dose, but it's not a good idea to start there. And here is something that you can get into trouble with if you're not reading the supplement facts label. The strength of the extract matters. Many commercial Rhodiola Rosea extracts use a 3-to-1 ratio of rosavins to salidroside, and that means 3% rosavins and 1% salidroside. And this is the ratio used in many clinical studies. It is the natural ratio found in the plant, and is usually a safer place to start for stress, mental fatigue, and brain fog. Higher salidroside extracts may feel more stimulating, and some neurohackers like that. But if you're dealing with brain fog plus poor anxiety, poor sleep, or you're sensitive to caffeine, more stimulation may not be what you need. So for brain fog, I suggest starting with a standard Rhodiola Rosea 3-to-1 extract, and avoid extracts with a higher salidroside ratio. Now, brain fog cause number 3 is inflammation. This is a different kind of brain fog. It often comes with body aches, low mood, poor recovery, puffy eyes, headaches, or that heavy feeling in your head. Inflammation and oxidative stress can affect how well your brain cells communicate. And your brain is especially vulnerable because it is the most oxygen-hungry organ in your body. And for this type of brain fog, I recommend astaxanthin. Did you know that astaxanthin is 550 times more effective than vitamin E against lipid peroxidation in the mitochondria? It is what gives salmon, shrimp, lobsters, and flamingos their pink-orange color. But what makes astaxanthin different is where and how it works. It easily crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it protects your brain cell membranes from free radicals and oxidative stress, including mitochondrial membranes. And this matters because your mitochondria inside every brain cell are where ATP is produced, and it's what your brain uses for energy. And if your mitochondria are under oxidative stress, it will feel like your thinking slowed down. You'll feel tired and inflamed. Astaxanthin does not feel like a stimulant, so you are unlikely to feel it on the first day of using it. But use it every day for 2 or 3 weeks, and you should start to feel the difference in how quickly words come, short-term and working memory are better, and you'll remember where you left the remote. You use astaxanthin to help reduce oxidative stress, support brain cell membranes, and reduce mental fatigue. The recommended daily dosage for astaxanthin is 4 to 12 milligrams per day. Now, some use up to 16 milligrams, but it is not necessary. I don't recommend it. Astaxanthin should be taken with a healthy fat or oil because it is a fat-soluble supplement. If you take it on an empty stomach, you will not get the benefit of this amazing supplement. Now, let's talk about one of the common questions. Can you take astaxanthin with krill oil or omega-3s? And the answer is no. Not for absorption anyway. Krill oil and omega-3s are fatty acids. They are not the kind of fat you need to activate the fat digesting part of your digestive system. Make sure that you check the label because if your krill oil already contains astaxanthin and you add a standalone 12 milligram astaxanthin soft gel, you may be taking more than you intended. Now, it's not dangerous, but remember, more is never better with nootropic supplements. And another question I see is whether a half a milligram or 1 milligram of astaxanthin is enough. I use and recommend the best vision supplement I've ever found. Performance Lab Vision. It contains 4 milligrams of astaxanthin from an algae extract, along with 6 other vision-supporting ingredients, and it supports not only your eyes, but it also supports your brain. But if you're looking for a standalone astaxanthin supplement for brain fog, oxidative stress, and mental fatigue, recommend a higher dose of 4 milligrams or more. Now, what about libido and 5-alpha reductase? Some worry that astaxanthin could inhibit 5-alpha reductase and reduce DHT, which could affect your libido. But this is unlikely to cause a problem. On the other hand, if you start using astaxanthin and you notice that your libido drops, then stop using it and see if things return to normal, especially if you have Hashimoto's, you're hypothyroid, or have another autoimmune condition. Be careful, because astaxanthin can affect inflammation and immune signaling. That may be helpful for one person and not ideal for another. So if you have thyroid autoimmunity, I suggest avoiding astaxanthin and find another natural anti-inflammatory supplement. Cause number 4 of brain fog is low dopamine. This kind of brain fog feels different. And it's not just poor memory. you'll feel less motivated, and you know what you need to do, but you don't feel like doing it. No matter how good your intentions, you can't start what you plan to do. And your brain just feels flat. Your mood tanks. You don't have the drive to do anything. And if it's something boring, it'll feel impossible to get started. That is why I recommend L-tyrosine. It's an amino acid that your brain uses to make dopamine. Dopamine is then converted into norepinephrine and epinephrine. These are the catecholamines that are involved in learning and memory, motivation, attention, alertness, libido, muscle movement and contraction, and how you respond to a stressful event. L-tyrosine is especially useful when you're under stress, because stress burns through catecholamines faster. And that's why many notice that L-tyrosine works even better when they're under pressure, or they're sleep deprived, working long hours, or trying to maintain focus in a stressful environment. The recommended adult dose for L-tyrosine is 500 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day. Take 500 milligrams first thing in the morning and another 500 milligram dose at noon. L-tyrosine has a short half-life of around 2.5 hours. The 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine that you take at 8 a.m. is gone by noon and can no longer make dopamine. Or take it before a demanding work session, workout, recording session, or a mentally stressful event. But beware when using it with stimulants, ADHD meds, thyroid meds, or some antidepressants, because L-tyrosine affects dopamine, norepinephrine, and thyroid hormone production. So if you are on medication, you may need to adjust your dose. If you're dealing with brain fog and you have already tried a drawer full of supplements and nothing's worked, if you're feeling frustrated trying to figure this out on your own, then save your time and money and let me help you. Low acetylcholine, low dopamine, mitochondrial dysfunction, inflammation, hormones out of whack, you can't sleep, you can't figure out how to use them with your meds, or recovery from some other issue that has affected your system, I offer personal consultations, and this is how it works. First, you send me your current nootropic stack, your list of meds, and what you're trying to fix. I have worked with over 2,000 people worldwide and can help you too. You don't need to do this on your own anymore. You'll find a link to my calendar below in the description under this video. Now, cause number 5 of brain fog is poor sleep. This one sounds obvious, but it is one of the most ignored causes of brain fog, because you can take every nootropic in the world, but if you can't sleep, your brain will not get rid of waste properly, and long-term memory suffers. For this type of brain fog, I like Passionflower. Passionflower is a calming herb that supports healthy GABA levels and the way GABA works in your brain. GABA is your main inhibitory neurotransmitter. When GABA is low or not working properly, your brain can feel like it will not shut down. You lie in bed and you're physically tired, but you're mentally awake. You replay conversations in your head. You worry about tomorrow, and you wake up feeling like you never slept. Passionflower can help reduce anxiety and improve your sleep. And because it has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity, it may also help the type of brain fog that comes from stress and inflammation. This is not the type of nootropic I would use in the morning if you're trying to focus at work. This is something you would use later in the day or before bed. The typical adult dosage for Passionflower depends on the strength of the extract, or if you're using it as a tea or a tincture. So I recommend following the instructions on the label and starting at a low dose. Now, do not combine Passionflower with benzos, sleep meds, alcohol, or other sedatives unless you check with your doctor first. Okay, that's the 5 best nootropic supplements I recommend for brain fog. Now, this brings us to the frequently asked question section, or the FAQ section. The first question I get asked often: can Rhodiola Rosea be taken with SSRIs, Xanax, or thyroid medication like thyroxine? My answer is to be very careful. Rhodiola Rosea may affect serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, and your stress hormones. So I would be cautious about combining it with SSRIs or other antidepressants. With Xanax, the concern is less about stimulation and more about the unpredictable nervous system effects that you could experience. And with thyroid medication, be careful because Rhodiola Rosea may feel stimulating in some people. So it could mess with your thyroid med dosage. If you are on any of these medications and you are in doubt, then talk to your pharmacist or your doctor before taking Rhodiola Rosea. The second frequently asked question, can Rhodiola Rosea be stacked with L-theanine, magnesium, or 5-HTP? L-theanine and magnesium are not usually a problem because they are calming and may smooth out Rhodiola Rosea's stimulating edge. But 5-HTP is different because 5-HTP is a direct precursor to the synthesis of serotonin. And because Rhodiola Rosea affects the monoamines, you should be more careful about combining Rhodiola Rosea with 5-HTP, especially if you're using an antidepressant. The third frequently asked question, does Rhodiola Rosea provide calm energy, or can it cause the jitters like caffeine? Both are possible. The right Rhodiola Rosea extract at the right dose can feel like calm energy. But if you take too much Rhodiola Rosea, the extract may be too stimulating for some. Or if you combine it with caffeine, you can feel like you've got the jitters. If you drink coffee, start with a lower Rhodiola Rosea dose. Do not start using Rhodiola Rosea and then have a double or triple espresso and then blame Rhodiola Rosea when things go wonky on you. The fourth FAQ question, which Rhodiola Rosea ratio is best for brain fog? For brain fog caused by stress and fatigue, I recommend starting with the classic Rhodiola Rosea extract standardized to 3% rosavins and 1% salidroside, and that is the ratio naturally found in this herb. For some, higher salidroside extracts will feel stronger and more stimulating, and stronger is not always better, especially if your brain fog comes with anxiety, adrenal fatigue, or poor sleep. The fifth frequently asked question, do these nootropics need to be taken with fat? Astaxanthin needs to be taken with a healthy fat or oil because it is fat soluble. Take it with a meal that contains fat, or a tablespoon of unrefined coconut oil like I do when I take my nootropic stack. CDP-Choline, L-Tyrosine, and Rhodiola Rosea are water-soluble and do not need a healthy fat for absorption. Passionflower is also water-soluble and is usually taken as tea, tincture, or as an extract in a capsule. Okay, so if you're dealing with brain fog, this is what I suggest you do next. Choose a supplement based on what you think the cause is and what the science says. The best nootropic supplement I have found for poor focus and concentration is CDP-Choline. Now, if it's more like your brain battery died or ran low on juice, then try Rhodiola Rosea. Brain inflammation will cause slow thinking, so try a good astaxanthin supplement. But if it feels like low motivation or you're under heavy-duty mental stress, you should add L-tyrosine to your stack. And if you think your brain fog is due to not being able to sleep, then fix sleep first, because you will not get the full benefit of your nootropic stack if you have bad sleep. That's when you add Passionflower before bed. If this stuff seems hard to grasp, then please join our Nootropics Expert YouTube membership. I'm creating shorter member-only videos and special reports where I can answer these types of questions in more detail. And if you choose the Neurohacker 2 tier membership, I'll even review your personal nootropic stack. Send it to me before the end of the month, and I'll do a video reviewing your stack and my recommended changes. And if you could use some help figuring out what's causing your brain fog and you can't figure out the best stack on your own, then save yourself some time and money and book a consultation with me. You'll find a link under this video that will take you to my calendar. I also link to my full video reviews for CDP-Choline, Rhodiola Rosea, Astaxanthin, L-Tyrosine, and Passionflower that you'll find below this video. And they are all on this channel. I recommend that you watch my video on the best nootropics for mitochondrial support next. I'm David Toman, and thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.